Chapter 2. Love the Lord. In an old legend, Jesus said to his faithful follower Gorun, "Go pitch a tent on Mount Carmel, and stay there for a time of meditation and prayer." Gorun did just as Jesus asked. Then one day Gorun went into the nearest village and asked, "Please give me a blanket. Rats have gnawed on my old one and I can't sleep." The villagers gladly gave him a blanket. However, Gorun began returning frequently because the same thing would happen again and again. Someone finally suggested, "We'll give you a cat to solve your problem for good." After a few days, Gorun was back. "Could you please give me some milk for the cat?" Realizing the need would be ongoing, the villagers decided to bless him with a cow. Later, Gorun returned again, exclaiming, "I need something to feed the cow." This time the villagers gave him a plot of land. With so many responsibilities now, Gorun asked for workers, for the land and materials to build houses for them, and so on. Years passed. Finally, Jesus went to see his beloved disciple. He was greeted by a fat man who asked him, "What business brings you here, sir? What would you like to buy?" Gorun had become a rich businessman who didn't even recognize his beloved master. The moral of this story is that we must determine not to let anything supplant our love for God. The life of a disciple flows from the relationship we have with Christ. Let us remember what it is that Christ says. "For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul? Or what will a man give in exchange for his soul?" Mark 8:36 and 37. It's never worth it to fill ourselves up with love for things rather than love for God. So, not only can good works replace the love of God, but we see that the world can replace the love of God as well. Peter is a wonderful example to teach us about the love of God. What did Peter tell Jesus before he went to the cross? Before he was arrested, what did he say? Peter said, "If everybody else forsakes you, I will die with you." And he meant it. He was the one individual who pulled out his sword against an entire brigade and started lopping off ears. Peter had said and meant, "I'm going to die with you, Jesus. This isn't happening unless I'm dead too." That's devoted, isn't it? Very devoted. But isn't it interesting that in John chapter 21, Jesus asked Peter the same question 3 times. "Do you love me, Peter?" He didn't say, "Will you serve me, Peter?" He didn't say, "Will you be the apostle who starts the Gentile church, Peter? Can you swing a sword, Peter?" He said, "Do you love me, Peter?" And Peter answered, "Yes, I love you." And Jesus said, "Okay then, feed my sheep. You love me, and that will be the reason that you feed my sheep. Don't feed my sheep without a deep love for me." Then he says, "Do you love me?" to Peter a second time. And Peter says, "You know I love you. So okay, tend my flock." And then finally a third time he says, "Peter, do you love me?" Now what do you think this was doing to Peter? A third time he inquires, "Do you love me?" I would think that Peter's heart was grieved after this third time. Peter must have paused and asked the question, what is he asking? Do I really love him? All of a sudden it sank in. Do I really love him? And he said yes. And Jesus said, "Okay, take care of the things that need to be taken care of." Jesus made Peter really stop and answer the question, "Do you love me?" I need to answer that same question myself. Do I really love God? Is my prayer life, Bible study, and ministry based upon something else rather than a desperate love for God? Is my love for God faded? Or is it the very thing that opens my heart in the morning? When I wake up, do I wake up with a song of worship? Or do I sing a song of worship because in the Bible it says, "Early in the morning my song shall rise to you"? So I get up and la 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 la. Does my worship truly come from my heart? Now it is your turn to ask. Am I in love with God? The very question Peter had to ponder 3 times. And the one that I now ask you, are you in love with God? Why did God come and walk in the garden with Adam? Do you think that the Garden of Eden really compared to heaven? Why then would God come down except to be with those he loves? Why did Jesus Christ come down? It's the same reason, to be with you. It is why he calls us his bride, and why he calls us his friends. It is why he calls us his beloved. Imagine when Jesus said, "You call me master, and I am master, but no longer. Now I call you friend." Can you imagine what that sounded like? What would it have been like to have Jesus speak those words directly to you? Listen to his voice, saying, "No longer are we Lord and servant, but friends." That is awesome. That is the sole purpose of his life on earth. What's yours? Do me a favor. Tomorrow morning, don't ask God for anything. Just get up and spend some time loving him. You will walk out the front door like a new person. You will smile from ear to ear. Herein lies the purpose of life.
Thank you for listening to the audio version of His Final Words, a discipleship manual by Travis Hunt. This audiobook will continue in the following videos.